Hello, beautiful, beautiful beings of our incredible planet, Gaia, Mother Earth, Mother Nature. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Animal Thoughts Live, here with you every single Monday. And I'm so happy that you're here on this Monday. Thank you for joining me. It's always so lovely when we get together and we spend this time just talking about animals, talking about animal communication, talking about intuition, coming with our love for the animal kingdom and all of nature. So if you are joining, welcome, welcome, welcome. Put into the feed where you are in the world. It's always really nice to give a shout out to everyone wherever you are. Currently, I'm in London and I'm here with you live on Facebook and live on Instagram, just so that we can try and connect with as many people as possible and discuss all things animal communication and interspecies animal communication. Oh, 9th of September. I wonder how you are. We have Annette from Sweden. We have people in London and Germany and France. And where are you in the world? As you're coming in, I'm going to just explain a little bit about what we're doing today. And I felt really intuitively guided to pick up this book. This is my first book of 3. And I just opened it randomly, and immediately there's this header, and I started reading, and I thought, that feels really good. So I'm actually going to start by reading to you. So get yourselves comfortable, and I will start to read to you shortly. So we have Danny from New Hampshire. We've got Italy. Hi, Jude. Got your email, my darling. I haven't had time to reply to you yet, but I will. My heart is with you, it really is. We've got Charmaine in Southern Ontario, Canada. Melissa in Georgia. Annette, Sweden. Mexico City. Hi, Alma. Isabella, hello. Gayatri from India. Lovely. It's so lovely to see you all joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Gail in Canada. Sealy's Bay. Where's that? Where is that, Gail? And do you have any animals with you at the moment? I actually have Grace. Grace has decided she is going to be with us today. And she's all curled up and snuggly. She's ready for her bedtime story, okay? Christina in Portugal. Well, welcome everyone. Hi, Beth from Big. Is that what you call it now? You can't even do the full name. I'm just from Big. All right. Let us begin our session this evening by lighting a candle and coming into our heart space and grounding. This is always really good to do before we communicate with animals, and I will be inviting you to communicate with animals too. And if anybody has any questions or concerns, I'll also be answering those during this live. But I'm going to start by helping us all ground, and then reading to you. That's how we're going to start today. Okay, so let's light a candle. If you have one, feel free to join me. That's quite a full-on flame. Let me just move my little... There we are. So I invite you now to have your feet on the floor, and if it feels comfortable, close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in exhale. This time breathing in and then breathe out with your mouth just slightly open. Try that again, breathing in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Breathing in through your nose. Out through your mouth. And the reason we do that, it just helps balance the left and right hemispheres of our brain. It's also very calming for the nervous system. So continue with that breathing motion. So breathing in through your mouth, through your nose, and out through your mouth. And as you do so, bring your awareness now to your heart area. And you might like to place your left hand over your heart. It's the left hand because this is the one most closely related to the heart. But there's no rules, honestly. If you feel more comfortable with your right hand, use your right hand. And as you're breathing in and out in your own rhythm, bring your awareness down to your heart. And feel that heart space softening. As you think about the animals who you love, the species who you love, any aspects of nature. And now have the intention that you are breathing in energy into your heart space, breathing out energy. And now have the intention you're breathing in love to your heart space, and then breathing out love. Breathing in love, breathing out love. And you can breathe in from any direction, and then breathe out love in every direction. And you might start to notice that the chakras in your palms start to warm up. And now take your focus down your body, down your legs, to the soles of your feet. Feeling that connection with earth beneath your feet. Imagine now that you're standing barefooted on bare earth, just soil, no grass, just soil. And it's warm and it's soft. And that earth energy is coming up the soles of your feet, up your legs, up your torso, flooding your whole body with that grounding energy. And this earth energy is anchoring you, giving you stability, giving you the foundations so that you can go higher in frequency to communicate with animals who you love. And breathing in deeply into your heart space. Breathing out and relaxing deeply. And then opening your eyes. How does that feel? How do you feel now compared to how you felt before we began the breathing and grounding? Can you notice any shift in how you're feeling, maybe emotionally, maybe physically, in any other way? Is that tangible for you? Let's put it in the feed, let us all see. Utter light-heartedness. I feel like I'm a feather floating in the air. It went cold wind on my face. Calmer, peaceful. Lovely. Is everybody able to hear me? I know, Britt, you said you're struggling. I'm wondering whether it's your end or my end. It'd be nice to get it fixed. And Alma said, from unfocused to loved and relaxed. So beautiful. Olivia, calmer, peaceful, floaty. So hang on to that feeling, hang on to that vibration. Mellow and soft. Thank you, sounds good. Thank you, Supreme Mansa, for your support. Sparkles Pixel says the heart opening, breathing in and out of the heart was expansive and centering. And when grounding and feeling conscious of earth felt so held. Sandra can't hear well. Jade can hear clearly. Hearing perfectly. Okay. I think it's okay, my end, my darling. So maybe just have a look at your settings. See if anything is going on. My gain is so high. You should be able to hear me good. Please put the volume up. I don't want to be too loud. How is that? Thumbs up? Is that good? Thumbs up? It could be because I'm speaking quietly and I need to project. So, before I was an animal communicator, I was a theatre stage manager. Good for Alma. Okay. Thank you, Mala. Perfect. Good. Thank you. Some of you are struggling with my volume, some of you aren't, so I'm not quite sure what to do to fix it my end. I will try and speak up though, because that will help. So I'm just going to start by reading to you. This is the first time I'm reading on a live from my book, because I think Riki was in my ear today. And this is Riki. Let me introduce you to Riki. Riki, everybody, Riki. Riki is a Spinoni, and he is now in spirit. But I think he wanted to come and express something today. And it may be that sharing this will be helpful for complete beginners. Or maybe it's about setting the tone about what we're going to be doing in this live together. So get yourself comfortable, my darlings, and I am going to read to you. So this is from Heart to Heart, my first book, and we're actually on page 100, and the title is You're Here. It was Christmas 2006 when I went to visit Riki and Lynn, who's his guardian, at their home in Yorkshire. As I pulled into the drive, Riki was already waiting for me on the doorstep. You're here, I said out loud. Yes, and so are you, he replied silently. I reached out and sunk my hands into his deep shag-pile fur, surprised at how rugged and harsh it felt, then kissed the top of his head. He smelled of wild moors and heather. He was even more striking in real life, a golden Chewbacca with veiled eyes. Lynn said, I've been mulling over what he said to you about coming back as a female puppy and begun to think of names. One name really screamed at me, Phoenix. After supper, we nestled in front of the TV and waited in anticipation of watching one of Riki's favourite programmes. For the past half hour, he'd been lying only inches away from the front of the screen. You've Been Framed was the highlight of his week. Lynn told me if he was in the car and thought he was going to miss it, he'd get into a blind panic and will Lynn to drive faster. If for any reason it wasn't screened, he'd insist she flicks through the channels and check with the set upstairs, and then he'd proceed to be really puzzled all evening. He also liked Pet Rescue, but wasn't really bothered by any other animal programs. Film-wise, he would settle happily in front of Home Alone 2, Whistle Down the Wind, and The Thornbirds. There's no accounting for taste. Turn it on, we can't miss the start, he demanded now, his eyes playing table tennis between Lynn and me. In order to enjoy the programme to the full, Riki took the best seat in the house, lying directly in front of the telly, his nose almost pressing against the screen. He laughed throughout, turning around occasionally to check whether we'd got the joke. Did you see that? He'd say, cracking up, mouth open wide, eyes smiling, as little wrinkles of excitement and pleasure rippled down his spine. Then he'd quickly turn back to the screen, eyes fixed forward. He laughed the most when the humans did silly things and made fools of themselves. Once his programme was over, Riki ambled out to the dining room and lay by the treat cupboard. Lynn offered him a chew stick, but he wasn't impressed. She gave up and left it to me. You're the animal communicator, you have a go, she said, retreating to the kitchen. I suddenly realised he'd done this to get Lynn out of the way, because as soon as we were alone, he stood up and walked over to me with purpose in his stride, then gave me his sternest Paddington Bear stare. What is it, Riki? I asked, concerned. He was normally grinning, so this was a new side to him. You have to promise me you'll get Lynn to your workshop, he said. The coming summer, I would be teaching an animal communication workshop in Yorkshire. I had hoped Lynn would attend, but she was insisting she couldn't come because Riki wouldn't be able to make the stairs, and there was nowhere within eyeshot he could rest. Promise me, he demanded. I promise, Riki, I said, in all sincerity. I didn't know how I was going to achieve it, but having made a promise to Riki, I knew I had to keep it. He hardly ever asked things of me, and never with such seriousness. This was important to him. I will be coming too, he said. I want to teach, and I have a question I want you to ask me. What is your question? What is the meaning of life? And what is the meaning of life, Riki? Then he told me and said he wanted to reveal it to everyone in the workshop. We were communicating with Riki, and we'd got to the end of the list of questions, and it was time to ask this most important question. So I addressed the group. Riki would like you to ask him this question. What is the meaning of life? These were the messages the students received from Riki. To love one another, to love all beings, to give love unconditionally to all people and animals, sharing love, being loving to one another, to love unconditionally. Finally, I repeated the answer Riki had given me 6 months earlier. Love. That's from my first book, Heart to Heart. And so this is the energy that Riki has brought into our session today for sharing. There are so many takeaways from this true story. One, that this dog, when he was in his physical body, had a favorite program, and he was very specific about which TV programs he liked to watch and those he didn't. That he was able to engage with his guardian and me while we were watching this TV program together and checking that we'd got the joke. And he was able to instigate, thinking ahead, how can I get P on her own so that I can talk to her about this workshop? And he stage managed that beautifully by going to his treat cupboard and refusing the treat so that Lynn would give up and leave, and it would just be Riki and I, where he would ask me to promise to get Lynn to the workshop and that he would be there too, and that he wanted to teach. That was his intention, despite not being able to walk at all well, and that the students had something to learn from him. I'm sure there are many, many more takeaways from that, but those are some of the obvious ones. So I guess where I want to go now is this a surprise to you? Is it a surprise to you that this dog, that your dog, your cat, your horse, that animals are this aware, that they have specific things that they love and don't love, including TV programs and people, and that they have sometimes an intention to be very generous in teaching humans about things that they consider are important to learn? Is this new to you, this information? Is it blowing your mind that Riki could do that, and that communication between him and I and Lynn was so easy that we could all communicate at the same time? Interspecies communication. This was back in 2006. What do you think? Put in the comments what your feelings are, having listened to Riki's part of the story. Cherry, you reread it. You read it years ago. Or you'll have to reread it. Yeah, reread it, Riki's chapter. Have I completely lost you? Are you with me? Someone says, it makes sense. The part of the favorite TV show was surprising. That he sort of wanted to make sure you could laugh with him is so adorable. It was so adorable to see. I'm sitting on the sofa here. Lynn was in her chair there. Riki was right in front of the TV here. And he'd like, did you see that? It's like, look. He'd turn around and look at me and like, did you get the joke? And he was just grinning the whole time. Yeah, opens me further. Animals are teachers. Brit thinks they should be the rulers on planet Earth. I see. Andrea says, not new, but the specific. Oh, this. I can't even say that, Andrea. The specificity is wonderful, and I'd love to get information that clearly. Well, we all can. We can all communicate like this. Animals are extremely good at this because they haven't forgotten it. But you can also communicate like this, of course. All right, so. Oh, this is interesting. So Norbert says, very clear, we experience the same with our dog. Yeah, beautiful. Kate says, my mind has been blown by animal communicators for 36 years. My dream is to be able to open to do it also. Annette says, no surprise at all. The animals are so full of love. And I've read your book. It's amazing. Thank you, my love. Raquel says, I believe it. Our cat has plenty to say. He also loved particular songs for me to sing to him. And Christina said, I had a small poodle who absolutely loved horse shows. So, Grace just decided to say, often humans think that we're stupid, that we're not capable of intelligence, as humans consider themselves to be intelligent. It's not an either-or situation, she says. We are all intelligent. We're all sentient. We're all capable of love that goes beyond barriers and species. Thank you, beautiful girl. She's looking at me with such love in her eyes. Oh. Yes, and Black Moon says the issue has been on my mind about how much free will animals have. Let me just scroll back down. Such so that they engineer situations to suit their purpose so intelligently. Is it true they know their life journey in advance? Okay, questions are coming in. Right. Riki has set the tone. Grace has added to it. What is your question for today's session? Where would you like to go? What would you like to explore? Hi, Nana. Haven't seen you for a while, my love. Yeah, his stage management amazed me. His teaching about love I've received many times. Yeah, he's a good stage manager. All right. I'm opening the floor to you. Now that Riki and Grace have set the scene, they've got the stage ready. What would you like to ask? What is your question? Cherry said, I had a cat that would only watch Escape to the Country. He sent Clue to it. They're so funny, aren't they? Anybody got any questions? While you put those in the comments, I'm going to just take a sip of water. Okay. We communicated with dogs a lot last week, so I'm wondering about cats, horses, maybe cows. Maybe cows. I think we need to have a week when we communicate with the cows too. So does anybody have any questions? If not, what I will do is I might just ask an animal what they want to say to you, a species. Okay, we've got them coming in. Yeah, cows are lovely. Cows are very special. Let me pick some questions here. I like to vision often a world where everyone, every human being is remembering that they can communicate with the rest of the natural world because they remember that we are part of the natural world. So the vision that I hold is that humans are communicating with other animals and nature. So we're communicating with mountains, with water, with fire, with crystals. We're communicating with an animal that crosses our path, with a bird that comes to sing to us, and that there is this respect and recognition between species where we who've lost this, and many of us need to remember, we hold reverence for other species, other animals who aren't like us, and that we learn to embrace that diversity, that biodiversity, where we are together as one in unity with all species and aspects of nature, that we ask these different aspects of nature how we can help. Not presuming that we can, not presuming it is our job to do anything, but maybe if we see something we feel is out of balance and needs our support, we could say, how can I help? Is there anything I can do to help you? Okay. Can animals take over humans' illnesses? They often mirror them, Annette. Sometimes an animal will mirror a human being's illness. My partner is particularly connected to our dogs, and will be working away from home, and will be going, oh, my left hip is just really stiff today and I'm struggling to walk. Is there anything going on with our dog? And I'll go, yeah, there is. And I said, who's mirroring who? Is it you being in sympathy with our dog? Is our dog being in sympathy with you? And I'll ask. They're very connected physically. Always the dogs and my partner. So this is an interesting question. I do healing sessions for animals. If they're homeless, I am going against their free will by sending them healing. Again, at Alma, it comes down to asking them, why do we presume that animals want healing from us? If healing is love, then we're sharing love with them, essentially. Not everybody heals from a place of love. They heal from a place of ego. So if we're healing from a place of love, then it comes, and often it's well received. But if we're healing from a place of ego where I'm going to make you better, I'm going to sort you out, I'm going to fix it, then that energetic imbalance is actually not going to be productive for the animal. So I would always ask the animal, because if they're feeling that you are not in balance and that you aren't coming from unconditional love and that you're actually coming from ego, they will communicate, no, not now, thank you very much. So yeah, this is beautiful. So Paula on Instagram said, I had a bird follow me from room to room for months. I was, just as I read that out, a bird squawked past the window. Um, I was told that he was a spirit guide, and on May the 27th, when my beloved dog crossed over, the bird too was gone. What happened to it? Well, sometimes the birds are messengers from spirit. That's one of their roles. They've got many. And they will often accompany an animal um, towards the end of their life and also offer support to the humans sometimes. In fact, there's in Life Lost Love, yeah, this one. I'm pretty sure it's this book. There's a beautiful story about Genevieve. Where is it? Queen of Hearts, chapter 19 of this book, where this beautiful dog had a rook come and sit with her, and would sit with her day in day out and be with her and support her. And then when Genevieve passed over, the rook also transitioned with her on the same day, decided to pass with her. And this is where we mustn't get so locked into separatism, where we think, oh wow, there's this rook and this dog, and the rook has come to be with the dog at end of life, and also the rook's end of life. Why wouldn't they? Why would they not acknowledge each other when they are so connected and able to communicate with each other? It's us that forgets that. It's us that forgets that we can be there for anyone, whatever the species. It's not just the human beings that we can support, and other animals that can support each other. You've probably seen online about the giant Aldabra tortoise who looked after the baby hippo who lost his mother in the tsunami, and this giant Aldabra tortoise brought up this hippo. And there's lots of cross-species relationships like that, like Bella the elephant and the dog, who just adored each other. And when the dog was poorly and was having treatment, the elephant waited outside the entrance to where they would normally meet every single day, every day without moving, until she was able to see that her dog friend was okay. They literally carried the dog out so that the elephant could see that her friend was okay. And there are so many moving, very touching relationships between species, but why wouldn't they be? We're having incredible, moving, touching relationships with other species, with our dog, with our cat, with our horse, with our rabbit, with our budgie. Why can't they as well? Let me just look through a few more. Missing animals, and that's an entire life, isn't it? Missing animals. Animals don't always go missing. Sometimes they relocate themselves, but sometimes they're very sadly they are relocated by human beings who don't recognize how that impacts them and their family. And I know that cats are particularly good at rehoming themselves. If they don't like a scenario, they can take themselves off. But I've also come across a woman who didn't want her cat anymore. She drove 50 miles and dumped her cat and then drove home. And then, however many days or weeks it was later, her cat showed up. Her cat literally walked home. and to the home where she was not wanted. And you kind of go, what is going on there? I do know that the woman had mental health concerns. So maybe that cat was like, no, I need to be with you. I need to look after you. I have to be present with you, because cats are incredibly healing. But wow, what a dedication that cat had to her guardian, that a cat would walk 50 miles home and would know how to get there and would manage to get there without being hurt. I mean, that cat must have had a few angels with her, I think. What's going on with my sound today? My gain is all the way up. I hope you can hear me. Okay, other questions? Let me look. This is an interesting question, Jude. What do they think prevents us from being more loving? Okay, we've got about 20 minutes left. So why don't we all ask an animal? Why don't we practice our communication together? Because it's very powerful. And the question will be, you know, what do you think prevents a human being from being more loving? That would be our question. Let me write it down. Okay. Last I heard, Evelyn, the cat was still there, but I don't know. I don't know. All right, everybody. So let us practice communicating together. Think about an animal or a species that you would like to ask this question to. Who would you like to address? So maybe it is the cows, maybe it's the walrus, maybe it is the rooks, or your own cat or dog or horse or goat or llama or alpaca, or gecko, whoever it is you'd like to address. I will guide you in, ask the question, and then guide you out. All right, so feet on the floor, rest your hands in your lap, just so that you're not crossing, you're just relaxed. Palms up or palms down, you decide. And close your eyes. And now start breathing to relax your body and to balance the energy within your field. So breathing in deeply through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathing in and breathing out. Once more, breathing in deeply. Breathing out deeply. Bring your focus to your heart. Thinking of this animal or species who you love, who you adore, who you admire or revere. And sharing love from your heart across to them. Imagine breathing out love now from your heart center across to this animal, using your intention. And it's a soft energy. Then you might like to see it as a beam of light, whatever color comes to you. and hold that space with them, being present with them. And you might visualize them in front of you. And if they're not there, invite them in. So I'd like to invite in the humpback whales. If you'd like to connect with me and communicate with me, please come closer. And I'd like to invite in the orca. And the dolphins. Who would you like to invite in? If it's your own animal, you might say, Grace, I would like to invite you in. If you'd like to communicate with me, please come closer. And thank the animal or species who you're aware of for being there with you. Thank you, humpback, orca, and dolphins, for coming with your own desire to communicate with me. I have a question for you. Please explain to me or show me, what is it that prevents a human being from being more loving? What is it that prevents a human being from being more loving? And when you receive their response, thank them. And you can also ask another animal, invite another animal to come close to you. And if you have their response, just keep holding that heart space with them. There's no need to write anything in the comments yet. I just wish you to stay in this communication with them, holding that presence of togetherness. And beam love to the animal or animals you've just communicated with, and offer your gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for communicating with me. I love you, I love you, I love you. And breathe in deeply. And exhale and let it out. And then gently open your eyes. And I now invite you to write in the comments for us all to share with one another, to learn from one another. Write the species first and their name if you know their name. So mine would be humpback, and then the response I received. And it might have been an emotion. It might have been that gut knowing that I received. I might have seen a picture in my mind's eye. So just write down the species and then their response. So Humpback said their own self-doubt about who they are. Orca said they do not like themselves. And Dolphin communicated they lack joy. Okay, so what are you entering into the field? The dogs and the cat said fear and separateness. Dog Tori communicated fear. Humans are filled with fear. Sandra said, my cat in spirit. Tara said fear, being too defensive. Sparkles on Instagram said, I heard fear. Danny communicated with the cows and the pigs and had humans think it is for the human survival. The people feel they need or want to survive. We love people, but not sure if they always love us. Madeline communicated with bears, people's fears and deep sufferings. And she also, sorry, Madalena, sorry, my love, communicated with dogs, walls around their hearts. And cats communicated ego doubled by fear. And Katie on Instagram communicated with cat and dog, whose response was spirituality. When we are connected to our spirituality, we feel expansion in our spirit. When we aren't, we try to get our needs met from others. We aren't as capable of truly loving. And don't press that. Lady Diod in Instagram said the cats communicated, humans get embarrassed and don't know how to love themselves. How can they love us? And Paula communicated with her dog Marley and Alex and Bentley, and they communicated past trauma. Fear and ego stop them from learning their lessons and growing. It's so important, isn't it, to work through our stuff so that we can move from fear to love. Because the more we love ourselves, the easier it is to be loving to others. We're not grabbing, by the sounds of it, from these animals. Gail communicated with Raven. Human unkindness is why it is difficult for humans to love. And Snake communicated, humans only see the surface most of the time. They need to look more deeply into themselves. Andrea said she communicated with flocks of finches, raven, and polar bear. Aloneness and fear, being caught in self-focused sadness. And polar bear said separateness, humans close because of fear of losing self. Carol's cat, who's a tortie, said she showed me a human too preoccupied with too many thoughts. So again, it's a reminder that we need to slow down and we need to just be still and present for a moment, and to keep coming back into this frequency of love and reminding ourselves of how important love is in our lives for ourselves and also those that are in our field. And those that are in our field are all our friends and family and our community. And all of the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom and the natural world and the whole of Mother Nature. Sandra communicated with Elephant and the mouse, and they came as a pair and said together that people think they are too small. Yeah. And Sandra, she said she spoke with her mother's Jersey calf, Blossom, from when she was a girl, and she said, "We think in circles that leads to fear." Yeah. Ahmed said she communicated with a beloved cat in spirit who said, because humans have a hard time being in the now. Do you find that their responses are helpful? What can you do with this information? There's so much information here from so many different species and shared from lots of different human beings, but it's all very similar themed, isn't it? What can we do with this information? How can we use it to empower ourselves so that we can be more loving? Joanna's communicated with Casey, a cat, who said fear, ego, and not living by intuition. And Sarah's dog Mackerel said fear and not loving ourselves. I find that one of the humpback's biggest messages that I hear a lot is, you know who you are. Know who you are. And essentially what I am learning is that we are interdimensional beings of love and light. That's who we are essentially. We are building blocks of each other. We're all reincarnated from land, mountains, fire, water, other animals, crystals, stars. We're all recycled. Human beings are recycled matter appearing as form, but essentially we are interdimensional energetic beings of love and light. And when we start to remember that, when we start to process that and to keep pondering on that and, bringing it into our daily life, I think it's easier to connect with another being, whether they are, my dog or the bird that flew by and screeched, or whether it's my favorite tree on a common I love to go to, whoever it is. Beautiful. Oh, we are out of time. It's been such a lovely, gentle one today. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, please click follow on my Facebook page, follow on my Instagram, love and like it all over the shop. And please do invite your friends to come and join us too. I feel that these sessions that we're having are making a difference. They're generating a feeling of real transformation, energetically, practically, and spiritually. And I'm just so grateful to all of you who show up and share this time with me and with each other and the animals and the natural world, and that we get to practice intuitive animal communication together. So please do like my page, love the live, and if you're interested in hearing more about what I'm offering and what I'm doing, please do sign up for my mailing list, and we'll put the link in the chat for you so that you can do that. And I'll also let you know when the next live is. We have one more live next week, and then there will be a break for 2 weeks when I'm actually going to be holding a retreat, and the signal is not going to be good enough, and also I need to be present for those people that are on the retreat. So we'll have a little hiatus of 2 weeks, but I am here next week, and I hope that you will join me. I hope that you will bring your beautiful loving hearts, shine your bright golden light, and that we will get to share time together again. Much love to you all and all those that you love. Take care, everyone. Have a beautiful, peaceful week.